Hey guys, thanks for watching another one of my videos. This one's going to be a little bit different, but it's still centered around photography. And something that I feel is very important for photographers to even look into, and I think it is a valuable tool that can really improve your photography overall. Everybody's so concerned with what the latest gear is, trying to chase the newest camera, making sure that they have that perfect lens, checking out their editing style. But I think what people don't realize is that you really should be looking at other photographers' work. A lot of that can be done online, but there's something about photography books. And there's a lot of them out there. And I don't pretend to know everyone and what the best ones are, but I can tell you for me, these books that I'm going to show you have had the biggest impact on my photography. And starting out with a very special book, which probably single-handedly got me into the craft of photography. And I'm just going to go off camera real quick to grab all these because I have them on the floor. I think I have about 5 or 6 books. But the first one would be this book here. This book here is an amazing book, A Day in the Life of America. This came out, I want to say, 1986. So 1986, this was a book that was out, and it was probably pretty expensive at that time. And, you know, it's one of these books where it was a collaborative effort between a lot of different photographers. I think maybe 200. It could have been even more than that. But it's basically a collaborative effort between Rick Smolin and a David Cohen. And the one thing that I found very interesting about this book is it basically, on this one page here, it lays out the rules of what what they're trying to accomplish here, okay? And what they were trying to accomplish is basically set out 200 photographers. I don't know why I have 200 in my mind. It might be more, but I think I remember it being 200 photographers, mostly photographers that were working for National Geographic throughout the world, daily assignments and things like that. And what they wanted to do was capture everyday America, everyday life, everyday scenes that you would see within 24 hours. They had one day to do it, and they would catalog all the images and submit them, and all the best ones were chosen. And it's amazing to look back at this because it's so funny right here that they were going to supply you with the film. I think they even they supplied you with a rental car, obviously lodging, and they would even give you a camera. And at the time, it said that they would give you, Kodak will supply you with 30 rolls of Kodachrome, Ektachrome, or Tri-X. And they want to know what your requirements are in advance. That's just so amazing to me because we've lost Kodachrome. We have Ektachrome back, but we lost Kodachrome. And it's just amazing to have a book such as this that have all these images in them. Some are black and white, some are color. But they went all over America, and they had 24 hours to catalog their images. And the stuff that they got, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, you're talking about, just some of these were full page photos. Some of them are smaller, and they would tell you on the side here what they shot with. I don't know if they told you what they shot with, but they told you where they were, who the person was, what it was about. They even drew a little map of highlighting in what state they were in. But you're talking about, coincidentally, I just turned to this page. This happens to be one of my favorite photos in the entire book. This guy on a rail car, black and white. But you're talking about an amazing collaborative effort to take these photos. And again, this is something that it's all film. This is before digital. It's 1986. The sponsors were huge. I mean, they were sponsored by Eastman Kodak, Merrill Lynch, United Airlines, Nikon, Apple Computers, and Hertz rental cars. So this book single-handedly probably influenced me getting into photography. I was a young kid, and I can just remember my dad. He was a photographer as well. I remember him buying this book, and I remember it being in our house, and I can remember just being so enamored with the photographs and just taken, and I would stare at this thing for hours, and I would constantly look through it all the time. And I don't know what it was about the images that spoke with me, but it was everyday scenes, and I try to do that and reflect that in my own photography. And just this book was lost to me. It was lost for a while. I don't have it anymore. Well, this is my copy, but hear me out. I don't know where the original copy went. I don't know if my father still has it or not. I don't think he does. But I just remember looking for it, and I actually scored this copy on Amazon for $7. I got this book for $7 in perfect condition with the cover. And it was just so dear to me to find this book. Yeah, here it is. Photographed by 200 of the world's leading photojournalists on one day. So all the pictures that you see in this book were taken within a 24-hour period by 200 of the leading photojournalists. I don't know if it was in the world because they might have come to America to shoot that day, but that to me is amazing. But it's the essence of everyday life. It's the essence of everyday photographs, and it's just an amazing book. So piggybacking off of that, I actually found another book. And then I actually learned as an adult that they have the same one for Japan, A Day in the Life of Japan, and they actually did the same thing, same collaborative effort, same guys that put on the collaboration. And this one is all Japanese in Tokyo and Japan, and all the photos that you can see from there. And again, another phenomenal. I mean, look at the colors on these. It's incredible. And again, it's laid out the same way, telling you a short story about each person and each scene and who shot the photograph and where it was on a little map of the country here. But just unbelievable, gorgeous imagery. And, so if you pick up a book today about photography that was basically created in the last, 10 years or so, it's basically all digital photos. This is scanned film. This is film photography, film imagery. The same Kodachrome film and Ektachrome and Tri-X were supplied to these guys. And you're just getting something, it's just a different look. And for those of you that like to mimic film in your edits, I would tell you to definitely find a book like these and look at it that way and look at the color tones. It's a completely different story. Along that theme, one of my favorite photographers now, if we're going on to other books, and if we're just talking about photographers, without a doubt, I always reference him, Fred Herzog. And this is Fred Herzog's Modern Color. Again, I do believe Kodachrome was his film of choice. If I'm wrong, let me know. But again, it goes into stories about, him and things in his life. But again, we're talking about amazing, amazing full spread color photos. Just everyday scenes, everyday life. A lot of these were taken, I believe, in the Northwest and even in Canada. But phenomenal catalog of images here, and just beautiful colors. And again, film. I make color presets. If you guys don't know that, visit the website. The link is down below. And this was a big inspiration for me creating presets, creating my Kodachrome presets, creating my American Vintage. And I love his photography, and another one of my favorite books, and I do recommend this book 100%. This is a great book. Keeping Up with Photographers, one of the greatest living photographers of our time right now, Steve McCurry. Another fantastic book. This would be probably a mixture of digital and photo and as well as film, but my God, look at that. I mean, you know, Steve is obviously an icon when it comes to photography, but you're going to see, you know, you'll see actually his contact sheets on some of these, and the one that he would go for, and where he would circle. Obviously, if you know anything about photography, you know that Steve is the photographer that captured one of the most iconic photos of all time, the Afghan girl that was on Time magazine. It's actually this one right here. It's actually on the cover. But again, this was an amazing book that I found, and if you're, here you go. Here's what I was talking about. Contact sheets. I mean, that to me is amazing, just to see a photographer of note such as Steve McCurry, how he selects his photos, where he checks it off, what he circles, what he's looking at, what he sees in a photograph. And it helps me train my own eye to be like, okay, you know, these are the things that I should be looking at. These are the things that are important. And it's just all his passports and stuff like this. It's an amazing book, but definitely notes to Time magazine, to National Geographic. Incredible book. Definitely one I recommend. If we're going to stick with another book about living photographers, Annie Leibovitz, without a doubt, is one of the greatest photographers of all time. Her body of work and the things that she has done in her career, absolutely amazing. And again, this is more of a short stories and just different articles about shoots and about her life and about the things that she's done. But definitely plenty of imagery in here to check out. And again, mostly film until you start getting into the latter years, where, you know, she switched over to digital. But early in her career, you're talking about, there's Arnold. But this is Annie Leibovitz at Work, another fantastic book to look into, and definitely I recommend this. Sticking with film photography, Film is Not Dead. Now, there's amazing images in here, but another thing that is really amazing about this, and this is by Jonathan Canlis, who is heavily involved, obviously, with Film is Not Dead, the Fine Lab, who process film to this day, and they are amazing at it. This is a very hard book to find. I don't know if there's that many copies out there, but this is kind of like the Bible, where he'll kind of go over how to use your light meter, different film, how to push it, how to scan it, what you're looking for, how different film, reflects light, captures light differently, cameras. He talks a lot about contacts cameras, so there's really not, he really doesn't go into many more options other than that. He's a big he's a big fan of the Contact 645. But again, definitely cool images, definitely something worth checking out. And like I said, if you can find it, this is a great book to look at too, and that is Film is Not Dead, a digital photographer's guide to shooting film. If I can, I'll try to link as many of these as I can in the description below. I got this book a while ago, and this was a book that I got into when I just started getting back into photography. I always enjoyed photography, even as a kid, going through high school, shooting film, developing my own film, being that I had a father that was a photographer. More of a hobbyist than a professional, but loved it nonetheless and had a lot of gear, shot a lot of Canon. Actually, this is his right here, the Canon AE1. This is what I learned on. This was the camera that he passed on to me, and I still have that, and that will always be there. But getting into, when I got back into photography, I really wanted to start learning the history of things because I'm a history freak. I love everything about history. And so I went out and I got Photography, The Definitive Visual History by Tom Ang. Amazing book. Covers everything. We're talking about, we're going way back to the dawn of photography. I mean, wet plate, pinhole cameras, this goes into everything. The history, why people would take photographs, different kinds of camera. It's more of a, it's almost like a textbook kind of book. But again, amazing stuff. Some of the best photographers in the world mentioned in here. Just really something to check out. And again, talking about street photography, it kind of breaks it up into the years that they're talking about and different, genres, different gear, and just an amazing book, very in depth, and you can be here for days and days checking out this book. But again, I would check that one out. That's Tom Ang, definitive. It actually has a quote here in the back by Henri Cartier-Bresson. If you know anything about photography, you should definitely know that name. A photograph is neither taken nor seized by force. It offers itself up. It is the photo that takes you. So, an amazing book. Actually, it says, discover the story of photography from its origins in the 1820s to the digital technology of the 21st century. So definitely check that out. Again, sorry if I went on and on, but like I said, I am a huge history nut, and to find a book like that, as well as all the others, take a break from the gear, take a break from the cameras, and sit back, especially if it's horrible weather out. You're not going to be shooting anyway. It's cold, it's wintertime, whatever it may be. You're at the beach, you're with your family, and you're just looking for a good read. Pick up a book like this. It will do you wonders. You will change the way you look at photos. You will change the way you approach your photography. And I guarantee that it will give you something else that no piece of gear really can. Study your craft, get better at it, and learn from the masters. They've done it before. I'm not saying that you have to copy them, but you should certainly take from them and learn from them and use their experiences to better yourself. Once again, thanks for checking out this video. I'm sorry if it was drawn out. Links are below. Please subscribe. And if you want to see more videos about photography, gear, methods, editing, this is the place to be. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one.